Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. Last time we were on here I made a video about the best revision guides that parents can buy for their children when preparing for the Year 6 SATs. In today's video I'm going to talk through some of the really useful websites, a lot of them for free, that you can use to help your child prepare for their SATs in Year 6. I hope you find some use out of the video, and please subscribe if you haven't subscribed already to the channel for more videos on primary education. Okay, let's get into it. Okay, hello everybody and welcome to the video. This video is all about the websites that can help you to support your child when preparing for Year 6 SATs. We did a previous video about the kind of books that would help you, and this is all about websites. Some of these websites are free, but some of them are subscription and login. A lot of these are used by schools as well, so if you are a teacher and you're watching this, I hope that there are some websites on here that you might also find useful. So the first one I want to talk about is something called SATs Companion. Now this is designed specifically to help with the Year 6 SATs, and it's a really good website. It isn't free, this one, it is a subscription service, but let's just take a quick look at it now and see what it's all about. So this is the website that you will come to when you search for it on Google, and you would need to log in here. Now it is available for parents as well as schools, so you can get a parent login. If schools are using it, then each child will get their own individual login, which the teachers can then track their progress. So let's have a look inside then. So once logged in, this is the pupil view. So this is what a child would see when they're logged into SATs Companion. Now I use this a lot in class. It's really helpful, particularly with like the grammar, so English grammar, and I'll just show you why. So if you click on this bar here and you click on practice, it gives you both maths and English. Okay, now I use it a lot for English and mostly for grammar, but there is maths there as well. And let's say now at the end of Year 6, they do have to do a grammar test where they're tested on all the grammar that they should have learned throughout the Key Stage 2 curriculum and in Year 6. And I've got to say, there is some grammar in there that can be quite tricky. For example, if we go to here, verb forms, tense and consistency, there isn't just past and present tense. There's verbs in the progressive form, subjunctive verb forms, passive and active, verbs in the perfect form. So there is quite a substantial amount that the children need to know for grammar. But what's really good, and particularly if you're a teacher as well and you want a video that explains exactly what this is, if you click on this, you click on the objective, it'll take you through to a video. Now it won't let me play the video here, but this is where the video would appear. And once they've watched the video is really good. It explains exactly what that is, what this objective is about, and then you can do a quiz. So if we just press start here, and it gives them 10 questions based on that video. You also get here a small explanation of what verbs in the perfect form are. It gives you examples, and also this keyword here, participle, which the children need to know when using verbs in the perfect form. So I close the assist. Now the quizzes are timed, so you can see the timer is ticking down here. But what I do is I tend to do this with my class and go through each question together. But if you're a parent, you can do these quizzes at home, so they can watch a video on a specific grammar objective, and then they can do the quiz to see how many they get out of 10. Okay, let's go back to SATs Companion now. Okay, so that is the English. Now I'll just go back into English. Now if you were looking at maths, it's a similar kind of thing. You just click on maths and you breaks it down into number, calculation, fractions, decimal percentages, all these different things. So if your child is struggling a little bit in Year 6 with ratio and proportion, or with fractions, decimal percentages, you can click on here. It has all the objectives here for each one, and then there'll be a video that goes along with it and a quiz, just like with the English. Now the way schools use it is they may set tasks for the children to do for homework, and then the teacher can track, if the child's done it at home, how they got on with that quiz and what they maybe need to go back over with the child. So there's loads of stuff in here like grammatical terms, so videos on verbs, adjectives, adverbs, pronouns, conjunctions. There's all kinds of things here, standard English and formality, punctuation, everything really that would appear in that grammar and punctuation and spelling test. So a really good website, one that I would definitely recommend for parents and for teachers. Okay, so let's just go back. The next website that I want to look at is something called Testbase. Now, Testbase is, again, a website that's designed to support teachers when looking at test-style questions. Now, for this one, it's not actually just for Key Stage 1. It's also got Key Stage 2 on here as well. So, sorry, it's not just got for Key Stage 2, it's also got Key Stage 1 on here as well. So if I click into Key Stage 2, and let's say that I wanted to do some work on my arithmetic, I click on this, and it gives me all the different kinds of questions. Now, the reason it's called Testbase is because it's based on all of the tests, the previous SATs tests that have taken place over the last few years. And these are all questions that are taken from those tests. So you know that you're getting your child to answer questions that have been on previous SATs papers. You can also search. So if I wanted to look for, so this is looking within arithmetic, you can search in that bar and it'll bring something up. If I just return home, start your search. Sorry, if I go back to Testbase. So here we've got also reading questions. So I click on here, it gives them the reading questions. Now this is actually from the previous SATs test. The only thing you don't have here is the test, the reading text itself, but you do have the questions. What I tend to use this for is if I'm looking at a particular thing in maths and I want to go over a particular question, I use it then. But also it's got some really good reasoning questions as well. So let's say that the child was struggling with money. There are money questions on here. Okay, if it was bar charts, interpreting data, 2D shape questions. And as I use it in school, say I cover coordinates or rounding or any sort of objective, I use these as next steps. So I stick them in the children's books once we've done the lesson so that they can apply what they've learnt. But if you're a parent and you want to get the child to have a go at some of the test style questions that are taken from the actual SATs tests, you can use this website. This one also is not a free resource though, unfortunately. I'm not sure exactly what the cost is for subscription, but it is a useful website and it is one that teachers do use. Okay, so moving on. Now this is a really great website and this one is free. It's called myminimaths.co.uk, and let's just have a look at this one. So it looks a bit like this. Now, being a free website, unfortunately, you do get a lot of ads and pop-ups, so you just need to close those so you can have a look at what it is that you want. But it's a really great website, and I'll just explain why in a second. The way I use it the most, I mean, it goes down to year 4 and year 3, but we use it specifically in year 6 for these arithmetic practice papers. So what we're always doing on a weekly basis is making sure the children are confident and comfortable with mental arithmetic. And on here, you find loads of different examples of arithmetic papers. Now, there are free SATs papers online. However, once you've exhausted all of those, once you've used all the ones from previous years, you can go on here and they've got ready-made ones. So if I just click the practice paper, and what's great about it is it looks very similar to the actual SATs in the way that it's laid out. You have the question and then a calculation box and a box for their answer. And then the answers are just there and easy to find. Now, what's really useful about this though, let's say that your child is having difficulty or you've got a child in your class who's having difficulty with a specific question on the arithmetic test. Let's say that it was adding fractions. So if I scroll down here, this is called the target 16 target questions. And what they've done is they've done each question from the arithmetic paper that may come up. And if I click on this one, so adding decimals, it'll give me loads and loads of questions which are just adding decimals. Okay, so all of the very same type of questions. And the reason this is good is because then I don't need to print out a whole arithmetic test with all different questions on. If I want my child to just have a go at the adding decimals questions, I can just select that question and print out all of these so that they can practice that one question. Because what you'll find is they won't have the children won't have difficulty with every single question on the arithmetic paper. It may just be that they're finding percentages tricky, or they're finding long division tricky, or they're finding BIDMAS questions tricky, or adding fractions. So you just need to scroll down, find the type of question that you're looking for. So here we've got adding mixed number fractions. Click on it, and then it'll give you loads of questions of the same type. So really useful website. For parents, now this box that says connection reset, this is where it will have a link to a YouTube video on how to answer that type of question, which is also really useful, because if you're at home and you're a parent and you're not sure how to teach your child how to answer these questions, when you open this, you'll see a video here which will explain how to answer that question. So it's a link to a YouTube video on how to do that. So that's another reason why this website is really useful. So that is myminimaths.co.uk. Okay, so the next one is something called satspapers.org. Now, the reason I like this one is because it's another free resource, but also it's very easy to get your head around the website. It's very easy to find what you're looking for. It is a free website, so again, you'll see a lot of pop-ups and things. You'll just need to close those. But it has on here all the SATs papers, reading, maths and grammar, going from 2022 all the way back to 2003. Okay, now not all of the SATs tests are done in the same way as they were back in 2003, but it's a really good way of just getting your child to practice. If you wanted to practice a whole test paper, you can find them all on here. Now, why have I chosen this one? Well, there are lots of websites out there that you can download the SATs papers from. However, a lot of them ask you to log in or ask you to put some details in, whereas this one's completely free. You don't have to add any login details in, and I just find that it's really easy to find the resources you're looking for. So let's say I wanted to give my child the grammar paper from 2019. I see here GPS grammar paper. I go down 2019. There's the paper. There's the instructions. And if I go to the end, I'll also find the marking scheme in that column as well. And they're all downloadable as PDFs, very easy to download and then print. So if you're looking for SATs papers that are free from previous years, I would really recommend this website, satspapers.org.uk, and you can identify it by this blue background, because there are lots of websites out there that say they do the same thing, but in my opinion, this is the best one. Okay, so next website is the one and only Twinkl. Now, I am a great advocate of Twinkl, but at the same time, I think we need to just be careful that we don't look to Twinkl as the be-all and end-all of resources, because there is so much on here. There's a plethora of resources for everything, not just Year 6. And sometimes the amount on here can almost be overwhelming. Now, in regards to preparing for Year 6 SATs, you will find their own SATs papers that they've created on here. So if I type in Year 6 SATs papers into the search bar, you can see here we've got practice papers, SATs arithmetic. We've got their 2022 arithmetic SATs paper pack. You've got a bumper pack here with the SATs papers. They'll have the same for reading. They have grammar tests as well, but just be aware that you kind of get bombarded with loads of resources here, and you just want to try and pick out the resource that you believe is most fitting for what you're trying to do. So if you're trying to help your child prepare for SATs, then maybe the arithmetic tests would be good. Maybe some of the reading practice papers would be good, but just bear in mind that yeah, there's a lot of resources on here, and some of it's been on here from when Twinkl was first created, and they've kind of improved things as they've gone along. So like I say, if you're looking for SATs papers, I would go with the website like this one first to do the old papers, but then if you're still wanting more, there are more on Twinkl. But just be aware that there's so much on here. You want to select the most highest quality resource, which is usually the ones that they've created most recently. Okay, so that's Twinkl. You can get some resources for free on here, but most of the resources on here now are requiring you to sign up. So that it is partly free, but also there are parts that are not free as well. Finally, just a couple of other really useful websites. This one is Times Tables Rockstars. Now, by the time your child gets to year 6, you would hope that they know their times tables to 12, but if they still need a little bit of practice, I know a lot of schools use Times Tables Rockstars. It's a really great, fun, engaging way of the children learning their times tables. And if you're just wanting to print off times tables practice sheets, this is a great website that I use a lot. It's called Times Tables Number Generator. What you can do, it's a free website. You can select the times tables you want your child to learn. So let's say 2, 6, 8, and 12. Just for this sake, you can select how many questions you want them to answer. So let's take that down to 20. You press Generate Quiz. What it does is creates a PDF with those times tables on, and just those ones. So if your child is having difficulty with just these times tables, then you've got a test with just those ones on for that regular practice, because that's all it is with times tables, just practice, practice, practice. Okay, finally, there is something called PIXl. Now, this is more for school teachers than for parents, but this is something that my school has signed up to recently. So what this is a really good resource. That PIXl is a separate body of department that your school can sign up to. They have primary and secondary, but obviously for year 6 we want the primary. And what's really good about this is it's a way they actually do it for schools. It's a way of tracking your children and doing the practice SATs papers and tracking how they're getting on with them. Now, I would regard you have a look at this yourself if you're a school teacher, and look into it a bit more detail. However, because we use this in our school to track all the children's tests throughout the year, and it's a really good way of tracking their gaps and what they need to work on and helping planning for interventions and things. But I'm not going to talk about that right now. What I am going to show you is when you do sign up to PIXl, you get loads of resources. If I go into year 6, they have maths, they have arithmetic tests and therapies, which are short arithmetic practice tests. So I just click on these. You've got weekly tests. Okay, very similar to some of the ones that I've shown you can get for free, but these are all PDF documents and they're all in the same format of the SATs. So you can see here, it just gives you 10 questions as the children to do that quick retention practice for arithmetic. And if I go back, you can also do these, which are really good, 3 in 3, and they are basically 3 quick questions, and they have them for reading, maths, and grammar. They're great for morning learning, starter activities, but that just gives you 3 questions and the solutions, and you can give these to the children as quick practice. But the ones that I really like are the same thing, but for reading. So if I go into English, I go into reading, the 3 in 3. So again, it gives you it as a PowerPoint. There you can see it's got the text. So they have a short text to read, and then they've got 3 questions based on the reading skills, the content domains. So you've got a word meaning question, retrieval, and a couple of retrieval questions. And you've got loads of these. So I tend to give them out for morning learning. You've got a text and then just print that on the same side on the back. And it's just really good for that retention and practicing those skills. So that's PIXl. But I would look into that in more detail if your school needs some support with their assessments. Okay, thank you for joining me for this video. I hope you found it useful, but they are some of the websites that you can use to support your child preparing for the Year 6 SATs. If you haven't subscribed to the channel before already, then please subscribe for more videos on primary education and hit the like button if you found the video useful. Thank you very much, guys.